All right, now thank goodness I'm recording more of a lighter tone video. It is kind of sad, but it is kind of a okay. I can finally relax. I've recorded like 8 videos in a row. Don't worry, I've taken small breaks in between, drunk some water. That way, my throat isn't overtaxed. But I've done so many various videos before this one. Talking too close to home, love thy neighbor, the haves and the have-nots. If loving you is wrong, uh Cory, I forgot, Booker running for president, talking the attack on the Empire cast member and other various topics. But now I can talk about something that I rarely talk about on the channel, but I love so much, the superhero genre. I'm talking not so much anime in regards to like Dragon Ball or Pokemon or other cartoons and whatnot I like, but more so in regards to the superhero genre as a whole. And uh, I'm going to have only one photo on the screen because CW, for whatever reason, decides to flag videos even when you're not using screenshots or clips from the CW. I can use a literal Flash comic screenshot that's been distorted for copyright purposes, and I'll still get flagged. So I'm just going to have like maybe a Marvel or DC thing on the screen, and then that'll be it. So just to let you know. But I don't know what it was, but I think it was around the time that the shows, and I'm really talking more about Flash, Arrow, Black Lightning, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, when they came out late 2018 for their fall seasons. And I knew that after most of those shows ended earlier in the year that, okay, I am done with Supergirl. I am done with Legends. My favorite show is Black Lightning. The Flash, I'm going to hang in there one more season just to see how the first part is, because season 3 was, oh god, I think 4 was worse than 3 in some aspects, but then it was better in others. But yeah, and then we get to season 5 and I'm thinking, okay, this should be good. Okay, let me just put it this way. Supergirl lost me during season 3. I think the last episode I remember watching before it took like a god knows how long hiatus was the Christmas theme episode where Supergirl gets her ass kicked by Rain to a Christmas song, walking around a Christmas tree, which I thought was very, when you get look, the one thing you don't want is an ass whooping to a soundtrack. That's all I'm saying. But it was a good episode. But then when it came back after a long hiatus, I remember, what was it? Wynn's mother came back into his life because his father, the toy maker, died. That was the last episode I remember watching. After that, I kind of just, yeah, that was a weak episode to come back from a long hiatus with, and I just stopped watching. I kept getting told by my friends, yo, season 3 towards the end got really good, but I just didn't, nah. And then, after season 3 ended, that's when they made the announcement that the first trans superhero would be on the show. There's a bunch of uproar about that. That wasn't one of the main reasons I stopped watching. Supergirl to me just kind of lost me even halfway into season 2 because they just kept using it as a soapbox for girl power and acceptance, and they just made all the issues in the real world copy and paste from articles and news reports into the story. Yes, I know there are television shows out there that do implement references to real situations in the real world, but they do so in a way that's well written into the story, like Black Lightning. Oh, there's a lot of stuff in there from what's going on in the real world, such as the Charlottesville attack. Even in a recent episode, Barbecue Becky. There are just so many other things, the black community being downtrodden by the government, with all these illegal operations and drugs and what have you. Yeah, I know. It is a lot of black awareness in that show, but it works because of the story. I'm not just saying that because I'm black myself and can relate to what's going on in the show, but keep in mind that yeah, I don't really live in neighborhoods or grew up in places with as rough and tough upbringings like that, where drugs are around every corner and stuff like that. But being black, you can feel that because people who have been through situations like that. So when I say that I prefer Black Lightning over Supergirl, it's not just because I'm black. It's because Black Lightning actually is telling a good story compared to Supergirl, where they slap you in the face with all these public and social, I guess you could say, agendas. And the thing about it is, on Supergirl, it's pretty much one way or you're out of here. It's like, look, you either agree with what we're saying or you're the enemy. You're instantly the enemy. and they just make males so weak on that show that it's just embarrassing. So with Black Lightning, there's more of a good balance between seeing both sides of the scenario. But that's just how I think about it. Legends of Tomorrow, season 2 was the best season. I actually enjoyed season 1. I don't care what other people say. I think mainly because of Leonard Snart. And season 3 was I didn't watch every episode. It kind of lost me when they started doing like dark magic and stuff like that. I did watch it every episode when Wally West came in there. The whole Bebo thing was ridiculous but funny at the same time. And then we moved to season 4 where Constantine was like one of the main characters. Wally was gone. They just season 4, I never watched it. I just didn't, because after looking at some basic premise of the season and just looking at clips and whatnot, it doesn't even seem like a superhero show. It's like a parody of a superhero show. And Arrow, oh god, I've never gotten into Arrow. I've watched several episodes, but not entire seasons. But I will admit, you know, Oliver in Jail, hardcore stuff, it was very good. And I think that covers all the shows. So I've pretty much given up on Supergirl, Legends. I did watch the first part of Arrow this season, but I haven't watched every episode. Flash, I have given up 3 episodes ago. And Black Lightning, I'm 2 episodes behind. No, I actually caught up earlier today. Sorry about that. But when I say superhero fatigue, I feel like I'm being like overly exposed to this kind of genre. But don't get me wrong, when it comes to comic books, when it comes to the DC animated movies, the animated series for Marvel and whatnot, I rewatch those all the time. And, you know, there are great comic book channels out there like Comic Storian, Comics Explained, Pagey, Emergency Awesome. Those kind of channels, they keep me up to date on what's going on. I think one of the other big things about it is the fact that my local comic book shop in the mall here closed last August, so I'm very out of the loop on current comics and stuff like that, as well as comics in relation to these TV shows. So I'm not able to just go to the comic book store each week, pick up some issues, and then leave. The only place I can get comics now in a reliable format is from Ollie's, where they have these huge carts full of full graphic novels. And you know, if you get a graphic novel, that's when the storyline is complete, meaning that you're behind, but you still get the entire graphic novel for a very good price. But when it comes to like Supergirl, Legends, and whatnot, even though I don't watch the shows, I do watch episode reviews, top 10 moment videos. That way, when these crossovers occur, I'm at least up to date on what's going on. And based off the reviews and everything, I'm not missing much. So when I say superhero fatigue, I think I'm really talking in terms of the week by week new episodes of these shows on the CW. But when it comes to like Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man Far From Home, of the upcoming DC animated films like Justice League versus the Fatal Five, the more recent film Superman, what was it, The Reign of Superman, which is kind of like part 2 of the Death of Superman animated film that came out last year. Those are very, very good. Not my favorite ones, but actually pretty good for what they are. But I'm also excited about the CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths, which won't come out until, you know, the end of this year, but I'm looking forward to it. But I just feel like maybe it's not so much me being sick of the superhero genre as much as the same repetitive writing on the shows. I think that's one of the main issues, because I'm tired of like the main protagonist not really developing. When they get development, they just backtrack. Like Nora West Allen, where I thought she was definitely going to be like the savior of season 5, so to speak, adding in a new dynamic with season 5 truly being more about family and whatnot. But she is one of the most annoying characters on the show now. It's bad when, I mean, I prefer Iris West over Nora, and I will more so season 5. Season 4 Iris, no way. But I just feel like Nora West Allen, it's like, I feel like one of the biggest mistakes is casting her to play a role of a character who is around the same age as her parents in the present. So we're talking like late 20s, but in reality, she acts even less mature than a teenager. I think it would have worked well if she was, I think she's like 33 in real life. So she's actually older than Candace and Grant, who portray, you know, Iris and Barry. But to actually have Nora acting like an immature teenager, I think it would have worked better if she was written to be like 16 or 17, because based off her look, she could pull it off well. So all I'm saying is that she's just one character where the writing is off, where it looks like she's getting some development, but then she takes, it's like a speedster, she takes 100 steps forward, but then she takes 50,000 back in the wrong direction. And the storyline, it feels like Cisco. It would not surprise me if this is his last season on the show, because I feel like they haven't done anything with his character. Thankfully, Joe West will be returning in a couple episodes because Jesse did suffer an injury in real life. So I do know that some of the writing has been, written around that, especially around Cecile, kind of compensating from the lack of Joe. Not coffee, haha. But with Legends, they just turned into a joke of a show. I don't even remember the last time like Sarah or Ray were in their, superhero attire. Supergirl, the whole agenda thing. I couldn't even watch it. When I watch these shows, I want to be taken out of the real world, so to speak. I want to be put into the world of these superheroes, these families, these teams. So to actually watch like a Supergirl episode and it's blatantly obvious that they're pushing an agenda in regards to trans, black people, gay people, anything in between. It's just, it makes it feel like they're underestimating the intelligence of their audience. That's how I feel. There are a lot of other things that I feel like I kind of left behind in 2018. At least I need a break from, because there are a lot of internet series and whatnot that I used to watch all the time, but I don't know why, but I just kind of fell out of them. Maybe it's because I kind of overexposed here's a perfect example. BuzzFeed Unsolved, True Crime, Supernatural. I still love them, but I think I'm a few episodes behind. Maybe it's because they're on hiatus as well. Because apparently BuzzFeed laid off a crap ton of people. Shane and Ryan, I love their dynamic, but I do believe they released an extra episode a couple weeks ago last month, but I haven't even, I watched it, but I wasn't paying attention to it. So I don't know, maybe it's because I kept watching episodes over and over again for weeks on end, so that's probably why. So maybe in a few days I'll be back in the groove of it. But with like the CW shows, I remember like I would stop everything and watch the episodes or catch them on the CW app. Now it's like I'm lucky if I watch The Flash 2 weeks after it airs. I remember when this season started, I would wait until 2 or 3 episodes went by, then watch them together. Cicada, I don't think he's an interesting villain or big bad. The Reverse Flash, Tom Cavanaugh, I love him, but I just feel like Matt Letcher needs to be brought back. I realize actors are either busy working on other projects and they can't be scheduled because, obviously they're in another TV show or movie, but I feel like they're overplaying the whole Tom Cavanaugh thing where it doesn't really work story-wise or make sense how he's the Reverse Flash. God, I miss season 1. But yeah, this isn't like a rant video, but yeah, I think I need to just step back from that genre for a while because the writing needs to be improved. But my gosh, I'm still reading comic books. I'm still watching Comic Story, and I even caught up on his videos on last night. Like, I'm more of a DC comic fan, and I'm referring to the comics, not the actual franchise, than I am with Marvel. But let me know your thoughts. Am I the only one feeling this way? Is it the fact that we just live in a day and age where maybe it's just because of the fact that growing up, there was a point where you get to a certain age where you will be ridiculed for liking certain things like that. But nowadays, it's the it thing. It feels like being a quote-unquote nerd or geek isn't as identifiable anymore because everybody's kind of into it. Like, you don't have to be a full-on Steve Urkel or, something along those lines, or people that cosplay, because everyone can like these heroes. Like, you can go up to like the biggest dude in a Walmart or whatever, like, yo man, Avengers Infinity War, that's what's up, I love Thanos. But now it's just weird because everybody has an opinion, and other people, and the thing that really irks me is like the people, like the West Allen fans are like the worst people ever because Iris and Barry can do no wrong. And it's hard to have intelligent conversations because if you give an honest thought, somebody will jump down your throat. You're just an Iris hater. You just hate West Allen, yada, yada, yada. That's probably another reason why I'm just not even into The Flash, because I actually wish they would do right by Iris by building up her character more, because apparently she's about to start like a newspaper or something like that, but they haven't really built up to it. Yeah, she's a reporter in the comics and whatnot, but they haven't done any build up. Yeah, she's been doing some, investigating this season, but not enough to make it seem like, oh wow, her blog has enough ad revenue to buy a newspaper. Yeah, we haven't seen that. It was just thrown our way. So if they actually do right by developing these characters and being well written, I think it might revitalize my interest. But until then, I'll probably just stick to my format of reading comic books, playing video games like Injustice, and catching up on the episodes via episode reviews online. So let me know your thoughts. It's kind of like what Syndrome said in The Incredibles, like, and when everybody's super, no one will be. Kind of like when everybody's a nerd, nobody's really a nerd anymore, because everybody's talking about Pokemon Go, everybody's playing Let's Go, everybody's going to the movies to see the Marvel films and whatnot. And yeah, I'm not saying, oh, well, only, certain people can watch these shows and watch these movies and whatnot, but it's kind of like going back and forth with somebody who, and I'm just using an example here, because I never got into Harry Potter myself, but it's kind of like, let's imagine you're a person who has all the Harry Potter books, you read them all, you've seen all the movies, so when you're having a discussion with somebody about a movie and they've only watched the films, if you say anything bad about the film, they want to jump down your throat because you said it was bad, and like this part here wasn't that good compared to the book, and then they'll just jump down your throat about it because they're a fanboy, fangirl. But you're a person who actually has both sides of the tracks, where you have the books and you watch the movies. That's kind of how I feel about these comic book things, because people will go off about spoilers if you're talking to them about, yeah, well, in the Infinity Gauntlet comic, Thanos snapped his fingers. Like, how dare you spoil the film? I'm like, it's not really a spoiler when this comic has been out for like 20 some years. So I don't know. Maybe it's just maybe the social media age we live in, where it's almost like it's almost like you're afraid to have an opinion, because it's like, oh, I like something, but I need to make sure everybody else is okay with it. Is everybody okay if I like this Ninja Turtle franchise or this Marvel franchise? It's just weird. So I don't know. I feel sort of broken, but I'm okay. It's kind of like maybe I just need to get this out there in a verbal format. But let me know your thoughts. Do you feel like you've reached a fatiguing level of, well, have you reached a level of fatigue in a certain franchise that you've been into for quite some time? Maybe you just need to step back, then come back after you regain your energy. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. I'll talk to you soon. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, as well as leaving your thoughts in the comment section below so we can keep the conversation going. On the left hand side of the screen, you should see a picture of Jeffrey Harrington. You can click on him in order to subscribe, but also hit the bell notification icon. That way you don't miss out on any new content. Also, you should see some videos appearing on the screen as well that I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy if you enjoyed the one you just saw. But also, be sure to follow me on social media such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links to all my social media will be in the description below. And in order to help this channel hit 100,000 subscribers, I'm going to need your help. So make sure to share this video as well as the channel around with all of your friends on your own social media. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you all in the next video.